Hi, this is Brent Bruning from the International Institute of Hand Analysis. And what you're about to see today is incredible. We have triplets. And what's so remarkable about triplets is that we can see a pattern that we have recognized for the last 40 years. It's been published about how different people with different hands have different lives, but the more similar a hand is in its structure and the lines and the fingerprints, the more identical the life becomes. The founder of the IHA and myself, so the founder Pascal Stussel and myself, we had their hands and we analyzed them. And we diagram who they are, what their talents are, what their sole purpose is in life, what do they struggle with, what are they here to learn, how are they going to break through, what are the traditional stress patterns. And we didn't know who was identical and who wasn't, right? And then we all came together to explain what our interpretation is and then get their feedback.
This is fascinating, by the way. Is this resonating to you guys, Richard, James, at all? Like as far as some of the stuff he's saying?
Yeah, I mean, so far it's been pretty on point, pretty accurate.
And what you're about to see is an illustration that is so validating that we can actually see the architecture of who you are and your brain and your life and the patterns you choose to be in from the lines and the fingerprints.
Like all three have Superman within, but you have also the crypto stone, where when the stone comes, so when it comes in the emotional part, can you give up the control and let it go?
And James, this applies to you the most.
Yeah, that's funny because I felt very related to that, what he was saying.
Because just look at the amount of meat that's in this area compared to this area right here, right?
Yeah.
So it's just like you swallowed a marble and you stuck it there.
Yeah.
What Pascal's alluding to is that within the personality, we have different parts that are competing. You're not made to just be aligned. You have different regions that are all urging and competing within you for expression.
So hands are revealing a blueprint because they are developed when the tectonic plates of your brain are forming, including the core part of your brain, which is your emotional center, and specifically the amygdala and the hippocampus and hypothalamus. They're all being replicated in patterns in the hands, and that allows us to see what turns you on. We can see that you're craving for certain experiences. And when you look at these guys, you can see they all have wave-like patterns through all their fingers that makes them really loving, sensitive guys. And when you have 6 or more, then you're in a love story. These guys are averaging about 7. So they're just super, super loving, open, trusting guys. And that makes it even more remarkable that they're willing to share their hands and their life story. And we're able to make this type of comparison.
Being masterful with your emotions, which means that you guys here, at least on a soul level, are all to become masters of love. All of you. Which sounds all airy-fairy, but if you just look at it and just look at the pictures that I showed you, those other guys aren't.
They call me Don Juan.
Yeah, and that's a good reason for that, because of that great area of the Venus region, which is right below Mars, which has a lot of sexuality energy too. And you guys all have a really nice area in this area that wraps around the lifeline, and that's animal magnetism, and that makes you really charming people. Add that to what looks to be really nice ring fingers and a circle on the ring finger as well, that brings out a lot more of that creative energy.
What's also interesting is they have a tenon arch. It's an upside down T, and within Bryant we see this tenon arch formation in the left middle, which is around analysis and a wisdom. And this is an area of where someone feels called to be a teacher. And he also has it in his left pinky, which is the area of spirituality and connection. And when somebody has a 10 at arch there, they love to be a spiritual teacher. So now you have somebody who is a coach, and that's exactly what he does, sharing spiritual coaching through a deep connection from a soul-driven calling to connect to the spiritual world and explain what he is understanding there.
What creates a learning environment? Teachers or students?
Both. Both. Teacher has to have certain attitude. At the same time, student should believe.
Also, what you see in the hands is the core structures of who someone is as a personality. And they all have this really thick region right here. And this is a sign of a hero. The Greeks named this Mars, this part of the hand, the Mars region. And they love to have challenges. This makes them even more masculine. And obviously we have the firefighter and and somebody who did boxing and went into military. And they're all just, super crafted, chiseled guys. And that's not just because they happen to be working out. This is a part of the personality that needs these type of challenges. And so that is universal with this group of triplets. And their hands are showing also a really nice area right here, which shows a lot of animal magnetism and attraction. So you can literally look at a hand and guess how much energy someone has of vitality and animal magnetism. Now, why this is invaluable is that hand analysis is about to blow up with the advent of all the artificial intelligence that gives us access and correlate all the information of your neurotransmitters and the brain and what turns you on. And we can see all of the different papers of what this line means and these fingerprints, and actually correlate that into a diagram of your life. And we can see exactly how you function, what turns you on, what stresses you out, what is your non-negotiable needs in a relationship, what makes you happy. And this is not just like self-development or really nice to know information. This is vital, because people who go outside of their pattern go into very weak areas where they get stressed out and their immune system begins to weaken. And if we can show you how to break through that stress pattern, you're going to live a happier life. If you live with a particular type of stress, there are tons of research that this is the precursor of not only burnout, but you can see the precursor stages of heart disease, cancer, and diabetes through these studies that have been published around the hands, fingerprints, and the research that's been done over a lifetime of watching what happens to people who stay in the stress pattern. So in 2 hours, we can diagram all of this, right? We can show you what is turning you on, what is your talents, what is your life calling, what's going to block you, and how we see how you're going to break through. So enjoy this. This is incredible. It's a vital contribution to the world of hand analysis, as well as you're going to learn something about these 3 beautiful people.